This weekend I went to the cinema and saw Jackass Best and Last, the fifth and apparently final film in the long-running, non unscripted prank documentary show. It continues to defy categorization or genre, but unlike the previous movies, this is definitely much more of a finale. We have the various members of the gang participating in some new stunts and pranks and skits. There are interviews with them. There's unseen footage or best of material from previous movies or the original TV show. And it's very much a last hurrah for a series that is shockingly well over 25 years old. Um, a lot of it is very funny, and a lot of that is because it's the best of material from previous movies. The Silence of the Lambs skit from Jackass Forever, which was simply people being locked in a dark room and told there's a snake in there, and then watching them panic, which was absolutely hilarious and one of the funniest things I've ever seen. There are other skits that are also very funny. There's some really interesting unseen material. The film even opens with a sequence never before shown from the very first Jackass shoot of the Johnny Knoxville self-defense test. In the broadcast version, he tests pepper spray or a taser on himself. But in this version, we see him shoot himself in the chest with a handgun while wearing a bulletproof vest and padding it with magazines. And shockingly, he's absolutely fine. It makes a hole in his t-shirt, but he's otherwise absolutely unhurt and completely unfazed. The film does carry multiple warnings telling people not to do any of this, and by this point it seems fairly redundant because people are just going to do any kind of stupid shit that they see in films. But the emphasis on the passage of time, on the shared bond between Johnny Knoxville and Steve-O and Chris Pontius and Dave England and Ehren McGhehey and all the rest. It's very charming. It's very heartwarming. The band of brothers aspect is very engaging and likable, and it takes the edge off some of the less funny material. It does mean, however, that the film really does feel a bit like a compilation. There's not really enough movie in this movie because so much of it is drawn from existing material, and apparently there was only 1 week's worth of shooting of new scenes. There's a very impressive opening sequence where the cast are introduced, which is clearly inspired by the Virtual Insanity Jamiroquai music video, and very well achieved. There's a huge finale, which I don't think is as effective as it could be, but it still tries to be like a big finish for the whole franchise as an entire venture. But it's entertaining enough. It's certainly something that will be enjoyable enough to watch on streaming. It feels more like a streaming project than an actual feature film because of the amount of reused and pre-existing material. But on that level, it is very entertaining. It is a welcome reminder of some of their great moments, some of their most inspired pranks and jokes and stunts. And seeing them together one last time, hanging out and just enjoying themselves, is very enjoyable and warm. It's just not quite enough of a movie to be a movie.